My name is Taylor Jones. I'm the executive director of Bikes for the World.
What is Bikes for the World?
Bikes for the World is a Rockville, Maryland based nonprofit organization that works with donated bikes. We collect and accept donated bikes in the greater Washington, D.C. area, and we distribute these bikes to qualified nonprofit and grassroots NGO partner programs in developing countries. We currently have nine active partners, and over the 20-year history of the organization, we have donated bikes to organizations in 31 countries. In addition to the bike donation aspect, and sending bikes overseas for various programs, whether they're bikes for healthcare workers, or vocational training focused programs, or programs that are focused on economic creation through micro lending programs or small business incubation. We also have a robust volunteer aspect of our mission here locally in Rockville. That's an integral part of our mission. We provide volunteer opportunities for people of all ages, from youth to adults, folks who want to volunteer one time, folks who come regularly, and those people are a really integral part of helping us accomplish what we do, because we are a staff of 3 people. So we're very much a volunteer driven and community supported organization.
What inspired you to get involved?
I think for me, it was really just a combination of sort of my lived experience spending time overseas as a child growing up. And so the combination of that, and also somebody who has always been around bikes and had bikes as part of my life, whether it was in a working capacity or using a bike for transportation or being involved in bike racing. Bikes for the World has really just been a perfect match of those two things. And really, what we are trying to accomplish here is something that I really believe in, which is that getting a bike to somebody is the easiest way to fundamentally impact someone's life in a positive way, because a bike really does open up a huge amount of possibilities for people. It broadens people's horizons. It makes their world bigger, not just by virtue of things you can see and do on a bike, but you can get somewhere 4 times quicker by bike than by walking. So that in and of itself gets people a lot of time and autonomy back in their life that they might otherwise be using just to get from A to B. And so that opens up a whole host of possibilities for people, whether it's, getting a job or getting an education. And so, for me, it's just seeing your world by bike is, it's a game changer for everyone, whether you're here, in the DC area, or whether you're in the US or Europe or Africa, Central America. Seeing your bike, or seeing your community and your world from the seat of a bike, it really just changes your perception of things and helps, I think, people understand and experience their communities in a more engaged way, which helps everyone sort of push forward and want to improve the community that they're in.
Have you seen both people working on the bikes and the people getting the bikes? Do you see their confidence level rise as they're helping?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, for on this side of things here at Bikes for the World, having a space where we can have volunteers, especially young people, come in and volunteer and work with their hands and work alongside their peers. That is it's transformative, because it really does, it gives youth the confidence to tackle problems, learn new things, think critically, and again work with their hands and learn the value of that, in a setting that's not a classroom setting, and that's not a traditional education setting. And so, yeah, we see, especially among young women, girls and young women. I mean, it's huge for their confidence in terms of what they are able to accomplish, what they're able to learn, what they're able to do, whether they're tackling a project that's a solo project or working alongside their peers. Just seeing that confidence level of these people, and especially youth, and say, hey, these are transferable skills for life, and you're taking, yeah, you're just providing a safe space for people to learn things with no, there's no quota for productivity. There's no end goal aside from, hey, volunteers are great for helping us prepare bikes for shipment, for helping us accumulate spare parts, which keep the bikes running on the other end. But, the goal is, if we can help add value to the shipments that we are sending overseas to our partner programs, that's great. But for volunteers, a huge part of it is learning too, and kind of understanding the value of what their labor is, and also what value our organization is providing to them and to the community, in terms of offering a space for folks to do those things. And then on the other end, for sure, people who have a bike, it really is a game changer, because it gives people the confidence to know that they have more personal autonomy. They're able to, get especially people who are using a bike to get education, or to access healthcare, or to access a job, or get their goods to market, whether they're a farmer or do handicrafts or whatever. That is a huge confidence booster, because it provides them more personal autonomy. They're less reliant on others. They're less reliant on their family. They're less reliant on having to earn money for a taxi, a moto taxi, a bus, whatever. And especially for individuals who are living in rural areas where the only other option is walking. Yeah, it's a huge confidence booster, because again, it's expanding your world, and it's giving you the ability to access things that you may have never even entertained the idea of being able to do. So that's a really key part of it. And it's really just about, how can we take donated bikes that are, for a lot of folks who are donating them, they're seen as being at the end of their serviceable life here. How can we give them another life, and put them in the hands of someone for whom that does make a fundamental impact? I think that's really at the core of what we're trying to do here.
So you're celebrating Bikes for the World 20 years. Where do you want to see Bikes for the World in the next 20 years?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, 20 years is pretty incredible,
Yeah.
because it means that yeah, it's a milestone day, or a milestone number, because it means that the model and the structure of the organization and the impact that we're always striving to achieve it's a real thing, and that there is a lasting impact, both locally and overseas. And 20 years of existence speaks to that. I think for us, it's about the impact more than saying, hey, 20 years, 200,000 bikes, whatever. Those numbers, those figures are great, but for us at Bikes for the World, it's really about measuring the impact that those bikes have, whether it's directly on the person who is using the bike, or on the program that the bikes are being sent to, or the folks in the community in general. I think it's about us wanting to push forward and have a deeper impact, and use what we've learned over 2 decades to help our partner programs have a deeper impact in their community. For me, I think that's what it's about. Like, we just want to build on what we've done. And sure, if we can look back in another 10 years or another 20 years and say, all right, well, here we are, we're celebrating 30 years and 300,000 bikes, or 40 years and almost 500,000 bikes. those are huge numbers, and that's really great. But if we can, in 10 or 20 years, look back and say, hey, we have helped the partner programs where these bikes go, that we've helped them scale their impact to reach more people. Um, to me, that would be the most important thing for us to think about. Obviously, we want to try and get as many bikes as possible, um, to folks who can use them, to programs who can use them, but it really is more about what the actual impact is and what the long-term, impact and efficacy is of these programs, more than just a one time thing. So, we have a lot of partner programs right now that have been with us for 20 years, and I would love to think that in another 10 or 20 years that we're still working with these organizations, because we're working together to meet the needs of their community and their constituencies. And so if that means that in a decade the bikes are still needed but for a different purpose, that's fine. That's sort of the goal. We want to grow this and have it be something that can meet those changing needs, in an organic fashion.
What is it like working with your partners?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's really great, and I think that it's it's inspiring to see the ways that partner programs in different countries and different communities have envisioned um, envision ways that secondhand bikes can make a positive impact. So to me, it's really inspiring, um, because I think it would be really easy for us and for our partners to simply default to a model whereby they're getting shipments of bikes, and then those bikes are just being sold locally or given away locally. And that's really not the case. These programs are using these bikes for a number of different purposes, and also have been able to um, grow and change the way that their programs are structured. So I think that is a real, and I think that also gives us as Bikes for the World, um, confidence to say, or confidence to think about the type of organizations that we work with, because we have programs in Central America where the bikes are essentially seed money for microcredit programs, or are repaired and sold locally to fund vocational training and continuing education programs. But then on the other hand, in places like Madagascar or Burkina Faso or Sierra Leone, we have programs where the bikes are, used for day-to-day transportation for school children, that are used by community foundations to get them into the hands of people, who are traveling the furthest distance, and really can benefit from getting somewhere quicker, or bikes that are turned into bicycle ambulances in somewhere like Madagascar, or bikes that are distributed to healthcare workers so they can get out and deliver medical care to people for whom they would have to walk a really long distance. So to me, it's really inspiring to have the network of partner programs that we have, because I think they challenge me and they challenge Bikes for the World, because we want to meet the varying needs of these programs, and also be able to learn lessons from each of them, and then sort of share that in a collaborative way with other programs. So if we're thinking about, hey, scaling the volume of bikes that are um, going to certain programs, we can have a discussion and say, hey, you know what? If we're going to send 6 shipments to, let's say, Rwanda, as opposed to the 4 we sent the previous year, hey, does that give us additional capacity to um, have some sort of pilot programs of getting bikes to different populations, or using bikes for different things, and using lessons learned from other locations to trial new things. An example would be e-bikes, right? We're getting more e-bikes donated. And so that knowing that the Bikes for the World model is quite varied in terms of what the bikes are used for in different locations, has given us the confidence to trial the use and impact of e-bikes in a couple different places to really get a sense of, is that a viable use case, and what does that look like long term before before we're really inundated with a more significant number of e-bikes. Like, we know this technology is coming, and so we want to be in a position where um, we have a viable use for these bikes when they come to us in a secondhand fashion. So I think it's about, innovation and growth. And yeah, those partners, they challenge me to think about what we can be doing better and how we can, share lessons sort of across the spectrum to make the world a better place just by getting people access to a bike.
How can people reach out and learn more?
The easiest way for people to learn more about Bikes for the World would be by visiting our website, bikesfortheworld.org. We have information on there about volunteering, about bike donation events in the DC area. We have a blog on there where we talk about our different partner programs and where the bikes go, how they're being used. Website is a really good source. And that's, I think, the best place to start. If folks want to come out and volunteer, we do weekly drop-in volunteer sessions every Thursday evening for anybody who wants to come by and lend a hand, whether you're available. If you say, hey, every Thursday I've got nothing going on in the evening, I'd love to make that part of my daily routine, that's an option. Or if you want to just drop in for an hour, we welcome that. But yeah, bikesfortheworld.org, the hub for everything that we have going on.